And we are back with the Burning Couch podcast. The year has been on fire for everyone on the show and some parts of WVU athletics. So we're burning couches, though, for a good reason now, because we're going bowling. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about this WVU basketball team and whatever the hell's going on with it. Plus, we've got a wish list for Santa. Each of us, we've written a little. Instead of doing a game today, we're going to do a little wish list. I'm Maddie Stout, podcast radio. I used to say God, but man, this has been a year, man. I feel more like just a mere podcast and radio earthling. And with me, you can't take anything away from him because he's a legend. Number 23 in your hearts, number 1 in my heart, Steve Slayton. Hi, Steve.
Maddie, good to see your beautiful face. Glad to be back.
Yeah, it's good to see you too, buddy. One thing about podcasting that I will say is that when we don't do a show, it's usually because something is dramatic going on. Something's happening. Things are happening. But then when we do one, I instantly feel better. And I wonder, I should have just done a podcast when I was feeling bad.
Hey, Maddie, I agree. I think this is the bright spot of every Mountaineer and us, the two biggest Mountaineers.
Can we flamboast a bit? Because at the beginning of the season, there were a lot of predictions that were put out.
Yes, there was. A lot of naysayers, a lot of guys that didn't trust the climb.
They did not. Too. And we said we would be 9-3. And if it wasn't for a Hail Mary pass in Houston, we would have been the only ones right.
Yes.
And I don't think anybody else said even 8-4. So I'm just saying,
chalk it up as a win.
It's a win for us.
That's definitely a win. I see, future's bright. And this bowl game is going to be even brighter.
So we haven't talked since the Baylor game. Sometimes it's like we've earned that one. We had so many games stolen from us.
Yeah.
And I was in Pennsylvania I was hunting with my dad. So I had to drive into the little small town. They have a little golf course that has a bar. So that was the only place I could watch the game. They closed at 9:00 Eastern. So the game's not over yet. There is no signals at where I go hunting. Somehow I got the Tony Caridi call on my phone to play on a certain spot. I had my phone there. So I got to listen to that end of that game with Tony Caridi. And let me tell you something. There is nothing better than listening to Tony Caridi call the end of a game like that. I have cold chills. It was so exhilarating. I'm running around screaming because it was over.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a beautiful game to watch. And I feel like you said, the way we definitely earned that one. And it's a beautiful play on a wheel route, running back wheel route, man. That's one of my favorite routes to run, or used to run, I'll say. But it's definitely one of those things to where find a way to win a game, because we've had those heartbreaks. Like you said, bringing up Houston, that was a Hail Mary. That was, a lapse in defensive judgment. But hey, we definitely earned that Baylor game too. Go to this bowl for sure.
And as a WVU fan, of course, the last minutes or seconds left in the Baylor game, I'm still like, oh, we're gonna F this up. But I didn't feel the same though. It wasn't as bad.
Yeah. No, I think we learned our lesson to where the game ain't over to the fat lady singing.
I think Garrett Green learned his lesson. You certainly saw a more reserved Garrett Green the rest of the season after that Houston game. So, for everybody that gave that kid, crap, he's a sophomore. And by the way, did you see, he was the first player to say, I'm coming back. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a big thing, just to build on what this year was. I feel like, those that had faith stayed with faith. We had heartbreak games. That's what's going to come into it. But to finish the season strong and win in that emphatic fashion, that's just showing to you, hey, what you can roll over into the season, to where if it takes the last play, if it takes the last 30 seconds, 10 seconds of the game, It ain't over till it's over.
And you know what killed me though? There are still people on Twitter. I don't know why I stay on there, but I guess I like to get mad. Who still had negative things to say about this season?
I mean, it's definitely a positive note to where you see, like you said, we can look back and see what everybody assumed what we were going to be, but we became better than what we need. We had a big game against Penn State. I mean, the score didn't resemble, but we came out fresh out of the gate, even beating Pittsburgh. These games that we played, you can see this team camaraderie, and then even just having All-Americans on our team now, to where it's been short, few between having them, but you see these players coming in through transfer portal, beating well, playing well, and hopefully that's the success to here to come.
So so we win the game. We got to wait a week and a half almost to find out who we're playing a bowl game, and it was down to like the Liberty Bowl versus Appalachian State and the guarantee rate, or no, I don't know whatever the one is in Arizona, and against another, not an exciting game. And then the Mayo Bowl decides they don't have enough SEC teams, so they're going to put West Virginia in there, and against UNC, a team who was picked to win the ACC this year. Yeah. They had high hopes, and didn't do as well. So we're playing a quality team. And I was at the last WVU game at Charlotte, that our season opener there, and we traveled very well.
Yes,
very well. So I think you're going to see a lot of WVU fans. I'm going to be there. So if you're a WVU fan, and hit me up on Twitter, I'm definitely going to be there with the family. Very excited about being in Charlotte. It's it's where my sister lives. It's a city I adore. Steve, have you ever gone to a bowl game not as a player?
Yes, I went to the Fiesta Orange Bowl when I was in Miami. I went to that bowl game.
Yeah. How was your experience? How was it going as a fan and not a player?
It's definitely great. Just to see, especially how we win that game 77-30 or 35 or whatever it was. But it's definitely to see, because I think just our history in bowl games, even back when I was playing, to where we didn't always get the respect that we deserved. We always had to earn it, or just whip our opponents and take it from them. So for that game, I think that solidified. West Virginia still had a heavy caliber of talent, and you can see that still through the NFL, sprinkled in the NFL now.
And it looks like most of our, I haven't seen the latest report, but it looks like I didn't see any of our star players that aren't playing in it. So I think other than I think Wiley, but yeah, I might have that wrong. Somebody can correct me later and tell me I'm mistaken. But we're playing most of our starters and everything, but North Carolina's not.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to get their best shot, especially just the way we end the season and the tough teams we played against. I would love to see to get the best shot because, like you said, it feels like some may fair weather fans may say, "Oh, well, they didn't have their starters," but they're still a good team. I mean, defense is still lacking, but I know finishing on a high note is very important for us to continue to next season.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the latest that I've seen. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a lot of folks that it looks like we're going to be pretty stacked up. They're going to be missing their star quarterback, of course, which is
receiver and linebacker,
and receiver and linebacker, which are I'm not going to complain, man.
They still got a tough running game though.
They have a good running game.
Yeah. So defense got to step up to the plate. Still that, but I think our defense, our secondary should have a field day. This guy, I think he only threw 7 passes for 20 yards or something like that. He hasn't much in-game experience, so that's one of those things to where we got to slick back our hair, sharpen our teeth, and be ball hawks.
Yeah, I think we're lucky there because if they had a great passing game, that might that's a place we've not done well all season. And excuse me, I think it's Zach Frazier. It's not was not going to play. But other than that, we're looking pretty good. The other side of that is these bowl games can be a catalyst for the next season. We go out there and you've experienced that. You win a bowl game, and then what's that like coming back the next season?
Well, yeah, like I said before, and I always say, man, ending the season on a high note, and anything with a win. I mean, you can have all the expectations in the world, but winning does help and cure all. So having, especially the opponent you're playing, somebody out of division, because you know how these analysts do, they pick who they think is in a better conference to win. So that's one of those things to where you get a notch on your belt to where it's good, to even have a break, go home for a little bit. Go to the game, win a game, go home, a winner, get you a nice little ring. It's definitely a confidence booster because that lasts until the summer.
And hopefully we'll see a bunch of mayo poured on Neil Brown. I think the haters and the lovers will enjoy that. I was just thinking the last bowl game I actually went to was, I think, the year I graduated college in '95. It was a CarQuest Bowl. I took a bus on a bus trip with WVU students all the way to Miami.
Oh man.
Drunk fest. Terrible game. So I'm hoping this one turns out a little bit better than my last one. And I think at the time our quarterback, I don't know if Jake was still our quarterback, Kelchner, Jake the Snake. Forgive me if I forget a lot. I'm 50 years old. It's a long time ago. But
aging yourself.
Yeah, but I just haven't, I haven't been in position to get to a bowl game. They've always been somewhere, or we haven't had a lot of them lately.
Few and far between. Yeah,
but haven't been a lot, or one's worth going to, or one's where we're playing somewhere cold, or this is going to be nice. If we jump back on next week, we'll give some predictions and have some folks in to talk about that. We were going to take a quick break though and come back, and I want to talk about the basketball team. Steve Slayton, or anybody watching on YouTube, you can see I'm in the Christmas spirit. And this year, by chance, I'm going to visit my sister Dina, her husband Jad, and my two beautiful little nephews, Eli and Sammy, who live in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, schnizzle.
Oh, yeah. So I couldn't believe that we were going bowling in Charlotte. I'm like, well, I'm staying extra. You're stuck with me a couple extra days. But I needed to gear up the family. I'm going to be there. I want the kids to have jerseys. I want everybody geared up. So where did I go?
Damn Book Exchange, baby. I know.
All right, I went to the Book Exchange because you buying presents for all those people gets expensive, and 25% off saved me a ton of money. I used that bonus code Burning Couch. Burning Couch. Code. It's a good
beautiful code. Damn near free, man.
It's damn near free. So if you're looking to buy your Christmas presents and you're, late shopping, don't worry about it. They have also shipping. 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, all available. So if you're a last minute shopper, you can get everything at the Book Exchange. I know people want to get their bowl gear. If you're like me, I wait till after the bowl game because I hate buying bowl gear and then us getting blown out and then I never wear it again. But, buy it ahead of time at the Book Exchange, 25% off.
Hey, damn near free, Maddie.
Use that code, Burning Couch. All right, we're back on the Burning Couch podcast. Now listen, this basketball team has been playing against adversity. Anybody who had any kind of eligibility problem seemed to have a problem. Raekwon Battle is in the federal court as we speak, fighting to play. Meanwhile, Jose Perez can't play here, goes over and he's playing right away, and then has the audacity to give props to the St. John's coach. He is a pariah now at that school at WVU. WVU fans hate Jose Perez.
Yeah, I mean it's a terrible situation just because of the fact that it seems like you could say that you got a target on your back to not play, but it's the NCAA doing this thing to where certain players, even with a receiver for North Carolina, missed the first 4 games, and it's just like, why are you putting all these loopholes and all these fences to stop these players from playing? Like, this would be one of those things to where if you have the grades, you follow guidelines, follow the rules, you should be eligible to play.
And if you're not eligible to play at one school, you shouldn't be able to transfer to another school and play right away. Like, that just makes no sense to me. I was hoping to have Ethan Bach come on and explain some of this to us, but little young man has gotten too big for his britches, does not return direct tweets anymore for some reason. Used to love Scramble to come on the show. So I'm calling you out, Ethan. Ethan Bach, you're called out. Make a clip out of this, Isha, and
we'll see.
Post it on YouTube.
Ethan. We'll see you very soon.
Yeah, we need you on to talk about this team. I mean, the worst is just getting blown out by Pitt. I mean, that's
it's always a tough one. So I think in any West Virginia team sport, losing to Pitt is a sore spot. It's a little extra salt in the wounds.
So, but we get Christa. I know I'm saying his name wrong, whatever. He's back, I think, against UMass. That'll be great. I do think we'll get Battle by the end of the season. I have some high hopes, which I'll share with Santa Claus later on, about the team. I think Josh, I think he's done as good a job as he can with the tools that he's been given.
Yeah. And it's definitely, this is short off season to where being into the role, but I think we've always had notorious for a slower start. But I think with the team we have, you can see the heart there. It's really just putting the heart together with the talent and playing all 4, the first half and the second half. That's always in any sport is finishing the game. Yeah,
I mean we had a team a couple years ago that looked like they gave up.
Yeah.
Midway through the season. I mean, and they didn't look like they had any heart. This team does have heart. They're, remember they're kids that haven't played together for long.
Yeah.
They will gel. They will win some Big 12 games. I know a lot of people think we're going to just get blown out. Gloom and doom West Virginia fans. Everything sucks. We're the worst. Let's get rid of the coach. Let's bring back Bob Huggins. Don't forget, this is all Bob Huggins' fault. This was all his fault. He chose to go and say terrible things on the radio. He chose to not use his driver that he was given by WVU and negate his contract. This is nobody's fault but Bob Huggins's. So when people start blaming everybody and the university, but not Bobby. And let me say this. I've read good things. Again, I'm in recovery. Bob says he's in recovery and he's been sober so many days. I can't wait to see him coach again somewhere.
Yeah. I think,
but not here anymore.
Yeah. I think the time came. I don't like the way it ended. I feel like, but we're in this cancel culture to where things are, some things are rightfully so because it's, it's a lesson to the next man or next man or woman that the things you say will, you'll be charged against, and it will put you in a spot that you may not have thought can happen, but it will happen. Especially we've seen it time and time again.
Yeah, and he wasn't canceled, but the universities gave him an opportunity to let's make this right. You're still our coach, and then this thing happens, and his excuses for it are astoundingly dumb. I would rather have had him just say, absolutely, everything was I screwed up. This is what happened, and he has softened a lot. I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell he's in recovery. I think he's learning. If he is, hopefully he's doing his steps and he's learning certain things about himself. But and again, he's a legend. He did more for our program than any other coach ever has. He's he should be enshrined at the school, but he's just not. It's not right to blame all the other folks for this stuff that's going on right now with the team. It's hard to watch, you know. I haven't watched all the basketball games, and I never not watch all the basketball games, but it was just, I had to take a break.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I mean, this is, it's going to be a long season. And, I think one of the saving graces for any team with hiccups is the tourney. That was one of those things, once you can get midway through the pack and get the things right, the tourney helps a lot of teams to where that's what it seems like, this league is, or even college atmosphere is a bunch of transfer kids that haven't played together or gelled together. So, it's going to be the new normal. So hopefully, hey, halfway we can get it together and play like we've been together for years.
Yeah, and I think when all the other players are in position. I mean, Jesse Edwards has done. He's a stud. He's exactly what we thought we were getting. So if Chris and Battle gets Chris comes back, and if Battle gets to play, those guys were even higher. Coming in, like, thoughts of them being great. This could be a really good team, because here's the other thing about that: those backup players who have been starting, they've got to start these games, and even if they didn't win them, Steve, you learn a lot more starting than you do sitting on the bench, right?
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, we always say it's different when bulls is flying. It's different on the battlefield. Because, you go to practice, you're going through the motions, but once you really have an opponent and you really let your hair down and see the speed of the game, because practice can't replicate that. But like I said, it gets real when bullets start flying.
Well, I don't know when your kids were little, if did they send letters to Santa Claus?
Yes, they did, of course.
I still do. Today, instead of doing a game, because I want to do a game next week and leading up to the bowl game, that we would do our letters to Santa Claus, which we normally do. Isha, hopefully you're going to play some nice, soft, non-copywritten Christmas music behind us, because you can't play copywritten music in a podcast. Tell people that all the time, and they still don't get it. If you don't mind, I'll start.
Go ahead.
Here you go. Here's my list. Dear Santa Claus, this year sucked on a lot of levels, personally and for the university. So here's my list of things I would like for you to bring us for Christmas. First of all, WVU gets Rickwan Battle to play and shocks the Big 12. Shocks them. I'd also like West Virginia to return all of its players on the football team, plus pick up everybody we want in the transfer portal. And again, shock the Big 12 and win. And this last one's not sports related. WVU, get your together, get your budgets right, hire back the instructors you fired, and get our university in a place where we're not having cover stories about how badly it's run. It's embarrassing. As a teacher, as an alumnus, in general, get it together, man. That's all I ask from Santa Claus. Oh, also, Steve and I are both looking for full-time employment. Go to our LinkedIn's, Santa Claus, and please share them with anybody who might be interested.
Oh yeah, that's definitely on the top of the Christmas list. But I think I have just one wish, and it's for my West Virginia family to be a family. That means anybody that comes into Mountaineer Nation, to Morgantown, whoever calls them a fan or calls themselves a fan, alumnus, that we treat ourselves like family. Yes, we can argue, yes, we can fight, but we need to stand up for each other like real family does.
Amen. Oh wait, we don't say amen to Santa. Christmas.
I got milk and cookies.
Let me start this over again. Dear baby Jesus, this is
sweet
what
baby Jesus. Sweet baby Jesus. 10-pound baby bounce Jesus.
I like my Jesus is a baby. It's one of the best scenes in any movie ever. I think you'll hear from us again next week. But Steve, I think we both need a little podcast therapy today.
Oh, definitely. I think our enduring people. I hope you didn't miss our faces too much, but here it is.
We're here. We never go away for long. We always come back. I also want to encourage everybody to go out and make sure you use that bonus code. What is that bonus code?
Burning Couch.
Burning Couch. Use that bonus code at the book exchange when you're buying your Christmas presents for all the kiddies, all of the brothers, the sisters. For me, it's the easiest. To me, it's the easiest place to shop for Christmas because my family's all WVU fans and they have terrible fashion sense. They don't know what
to do.
They buy like the worst. Yeah, they're buying like the Walmart WVU gear. I'm like, no, let me get you hooked up with the good stuff. Let me get you the good stuff for Christmas. And it's almost free, 25% off with the code Burning Couch. Steve Slayton, tell people how they can get hold of you.
As always, on Twitter or X, or whatever you want to call it, Steve23 Slayton. And on Instagram, Mr. Slayton. And
you can reach me at Maddie Stout, STAUDT. But follow the show at Burning Couch Pod. We've been terrible with social media. Let me just explain something to you. In today's podcasting world, it used to be that Steve and Pat and I would just get on, record a show, post it, and that was it. We were done. Now we're doing video. I got to have somebody cut that up. We got to have the audio edited. We got social media. It is not anybody who thinks this is easy and like, oh, any jerk can go do a podcast. Go try to do one. That's all I'm telling you. Try to do one and try to do one for 15 years. Okay. And see how it's changed. We had to do it on Skype. I remember we did it on Skype. Man.
We've been through all the platforms. I think we've got the recipe down now. That's it. That's all it is. R&R, research and development. And
big ups to Isha, who has produced the show all season and does all the video clips and all the stuff that you see. He's really done a good job, and he does it for a lot less than he should. But big shout out to Isha, and Steve, I love you, brother, man.
Love you too, Matty, man. I think we've been at this for a long time. I don't think that we couldn't do it if we didn't love each other. So, hey, let's stand the test of the time.
We'll just leave it at that. And by the way, we love you too, fans. Miguel Sanchez, you're number one in our hearts. Don't ever forget.